Hi, everyone. Okay, so welcome to Arbela Workflow Manager. Sorry if there's a little bit of background noise. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is Arbela's Workflow Manager, which lets you move seamlessly through workflow approvals. So a little bit about me. I have been working with AX Dynamics and D365 for operations for about a decade, and I focus on trade and logistics and all things workflow. I've been working in medical device, life sciences, manufacturing, and professional services. What we're going to talk about today is the AWM Power App, how it links to D365 for operations, the benefits of using attachments and email approval, and walk you through what our application does. So, a little bit about Arbela Workflow Manager. The purpose of Arbela Workflow Manager is to help streamline the mobile approval process and completion for all the workflows in D365. What we find is that many people don't log into the ERP and the application on a daily basis when they are approvers of budgets, invoices, requisitions. Their job has them elsewhere in the business. And so workflows and the process can become stalled as we wait for managers to log in. So really what the target audience of this product is the business user and the IT team, because we need to give them a simplified process for people who aren't logging in every day, but still make sure that that process is secure and we're not worried about emails being forwarded to the wrong people and losing track of the sensitive data that might be in those emails. So the way we went about this was to come up with a way to manage task management, approvals, and everything from your fingertips on your phone, anywhere you may be at any time. Some of the benefits that we offer with Arbela Workflow Manager is that we offer the data to be pulled in real time. So if someone has just submitted a requisition or an invoice, that data shows up in our Arbela Workflow Manager instantly. We use the work items assigned to you and we push those through a Power App to your phone or any mobile device. Within those work items, you'll be able to see what needs action taken on it. Is it an expense report? Is it a purchase requisition? What are the details of it? How much was it for? All of those you can quickly see in the Power App. And then from there, we can find what we need by filtering and searching while preserving our audit history in D365. The audit history is important because that way we know who approved and when, and we're not updating that or changing that from what the user has done. Okay. A few of the other things we've done with Arbela Workflow Manager is we've extended some out-of-the-box capabilities. So with Arbela Workflow Manager, we are able to add reminders of past due items. So let's say that you have an outstanding work item on a purchase requisition that has not been approved by you yet. Instead of waiting to escalate that to your manager, we instead send you a reminder. This is something that you can't do in D365 right now. A lot of our clients find this super useful and super helpful. And what's really great about it is that you, as a company, can determine when that notification gets sent and what that configurable time range is. So let me go a little bit into the presentation. So I'm going to open up D365 now. I'm going to take you to the Finance and Operations homepage, and I'm going to demo this functionality with a purchase requisition. While this mobile app can be used with any workflow in D365, purchase requisitions give us a nice view of what we're looking for. So I'll go ahead and enter a business justification or reason right here. And the reason why I'm entering some of these data points is because I want to show you how they show up on the mobile device and on the Power App. So we'll go ahead and add a monitor. This will be super useful for you now because you probably have a lot of people working from home and not logging into the ERP on a daily basis. So we want to make sure that people can still get things approved without any holdup. So I've entered all the details of the item I need to purchase, but to make sure that my approver knows exactly what I want to buy, I'm going to add a screenshot and a little image so that they know what I'm looking for. And this will also show up on the mobile device. I can also add notes to my approver. What's really useful is that we also distinguish in Arbela Workflow Manager between a line note and a header note. Okay. My PR is all ready for approval, so I'm going to go ahead and submit it. Fantastic. So now I'm going to take you to the Power App. I'm displaying what the Power App looks like on my application on my desktop. However, this completely mimics what I see on my phone today. But for sharing illustration purposes, I'm showing you here on the desktop. We have the scrolling functionality that you can do with your fingers right with your phone. We also provide you the ability to sort your workflow items by workflow, simply by clicking on one of the headers of the workflow. So in this case, I clicked purchase requisition. So now when I filter, all I see is purchase requisitions. I can remove this filter, and I can also search by subject line. And now I see all workflows assigned to me that have the value demo in them. So we'll do one more little refresh so we can see what else is on here. Okay, so what you'll see comprised on my screen today is purchase requisitions, vendor invoices, ledger journals. We really do support all workflow types that are available in the application, and we give you one simplified spot for viewing them all. In addition to supporting just approvals, we support task management and delegation. I'll go through that in a little bit, but first I'll walk you through the workflow. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our purchase requisitions again. And we will be taken right to that one. So what we see here is we're able to quickly see the document that's been assigned to us, what the subject matter was in the requisition or workflow, and the description. We can populate this description box using the configurations and placeholders within the workflow tool in D365. And using that together with the Power App, we're really able to communicate to end users and approvers the information that they need to make a decision quickly. Sorry about the cough. For example, I showed in this case what the requisition was, how much it was for, what the business justification was, who requested it, the vendor, my financial dimensions, and any notes the requester added. I can then go ahead to my attachments and see if they've attached anything of notice that I need to be aware of. I can quickly distinguish between what is a header note and a line note. I see the difference between a note and an image with these two icons. So let's go ahead. We'll click right on it. And what that'll do is it'll open up a web browser directly to the image that I attached earlier. If I need to see the note itself, I can see all the notes and the details behind the notes. However, I have everything that I need quickly right here without having to click too far in. From the work item itself, I can quickly make a decision if I want to approve it or not and say why. I would click approve, reject, but maybe I need to think about this a little bit more. Perhaps I'm okay with this purchase if they're able to get it from a different vendor, or if it's a different price, or really maybe I want some feedback from the IT department. In either of those cases, I can simply click request a change to send it back to the submitter with some details on what I need changed. I can delegate it to IT to make sure that they haven't already decided to make those purchases out of a different budget. Or if I really need to dive further into the requisition itself to make a decision, I can always click more details wherever I am, and I'll be taken directly back to the application, where then I can get a full picture of the requisition and see if maybe it's been approved by others, what else is being offered, any extra financial dimensions that weren't populated, all at my fingertips. For the most part, if you populate the description box and configure it correctly, we won't need to jump back for more details, but we do give you the option. So I'm going to go ahead in this case and approve this requisition. I get a notification that my work item was completed, and once it's completed, it drops off my list. Another great feature that we have with our Arbela Workflow Manager is our rapid approval functionality. What's great about our rapid approval functionality is if you're an approver who gets tons of requests that are simply a sign-off, where to move things forward, they must have your sign-off and you know those items are coming and they've already been heavily researched, you can use our rapid approval to quickly move them off your task list. So where you would use this is in the case where you needed to add a few requisitions that you'd already talked about with your team and approve all at once. So you could go ahead, add them to your shopping cart here. Then you would be taken to a rapid approval reject all screen or approve all screen, and you get some of the details on these requisitions. And once you're okay with them, you can simply type approved, and approve them all instantly, or reject them all, depending on what the business case is at the time. Give it a minute. Internet's slow today. We'll let that finish up. While it continues to load, we'll talk about some other functionalities that we have. It finished. What you can see here at the bottom of the screen, let me make this a little bit more visible for you guys, is these icons. The first icon with the info box tells you that you have approvals to complete. Our second icon here tells us that we have tasks awaiting our completion. For those of you that aren't familiar with the difference between an approval and a task within D365, I'll give you a little bit of background. An approval simply needs a sign-off and an agreement that the work item or business document can move from one spot and one person to the next and continue down the chain. A task, on the other hand, is something where action is needed to be taken, whether that is additional research, the filling in of some data points. You need more than just a sign-off. And the reason why we want to use a task is because often those will go to a group of people. However, only one will end up working on it at a time. So to make sure that individuals don't work on each other's items at the same time, we use tasks. And we can control those with Arbela Workflow Manager. Oops, sorry, I must have clicked something. So what we would expect here is that I could go ahead, select this task, and complete it. Or I could also, now that I've claimed it into my queue, I can release it back to the queue because actually I can't work on it. It needs to go back to the queue so someone else can spend some time on it. Fantastic. The next piece that I wanted to show you was delegation. Let's say you're going to be out of the office and you aren't going to be able to be checking on all the workflows assigned to you. Or you just need some help because you're a little bit backed up. This is going to be really helpful when people are out of the office and all working remote. And as we face attrition throughout our roles. So what you'll see here is a function very similar to what you have in user options in D365. However, it gives somebody who may be on their way to the airport or on vacation and who forgot to log in and change this, the flexibility to go ahead and manage the workflow without creating any roadblocks. So what they can do is they can say they want to assign all their workflows to somebody else. They can say they want to assign all their workflows in a specific module to someone else, or that they only want to assign a particular workflow to somebody else. So if, let's say, you want to assign a particular workflow to someone else, you would then select that workflow from this list. And then all workflows pertaining to this would be routed to the user you selected for the appropriate date range period. And you can then select the date range. Someone's going on a long vacation. And then you'll want to enable it and press delegate. This is going to be super useful with everybody working from home now and people taking time off. And then I've got a notification that this is here and that this is active. So I don't need to take any more action until I'm back in the office, or I can end it early. So then that is our delegation functionality. The next thing I kind of want to go back and show you is the queues. You already saw where that work item was assigned to me and I released it back to the queue. At this point, I have an info button underneath my queue icon. And in my queue icon, I now see that the work item has been released to everybody that's in my queue. So this could be the AP department, and all clerks could get a notification that some action item needs to be taken. The one that selects it and accepts it, it puts it in their inbox. And now nobody else sees it and it doesn't clutter up everybody else's, which then prevents others from trying to work on the same work item at once. Any questions so far? Okay. So we'll go back. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint really quick now that I've taken you a little bit through Arbela's Workflow Manager and kind of give some talking points before we jump back. So when we were in the Power App, and I kind of want to describe how this and give you a visual of what we did here. In the description box, we saw in my demo, name, vendor, financial dimensions. What I mean by how you can configure that within the application is that within the workflow itself, we have placeholders, and those determine the values that will show up in the email or in the Power App and what we want to communicate to our approvers at the same time. So depending on what we select when we configure our workflows is what will show up in the Power App. And if you ever have any questions on what to select or how to select it, we're always happy to give you some assistance with our support team. Okay, now let's talk about our email approval. I mentioned this earlier rather briefly at the beginning of the presentation. So yes, email approval does exist today out of the box with workflows. However, the caveat to that is that those emails can then be forwarded to anybody else who you have their email address. This is very problematic if you're communicating sensitive data in those messages. What you might be aware of is that there's HR elements to workflow. You can do employee life cycles. You can do budget approvals. There's no control on who those emails can be then forwarded to, and the data that's in them is now available to anybody who received that email on purpose or by mistake. So what we've done here with our Arbela Workflow Manager is we've added a deep link into the workflow approval and the emails. So I'm going to show you an email right now. Let me grab it. Okay. So this is the email that's sent. I see the subject line as I configured it. I see how much it was for. In this case, I see the notes that were added, But instead of it just being the workflow ID that you've had in the past that says link to application, we actually take you with this directly to the Power App. And then I apologize, I might have just already approved this, but we will double check. You'll see that it takes us right to the Power App instead of taking you to the application, which then secures access to this email. So the only people that can make this approval decision are those who are able to log in and have been assigned this work item in D365. So somebody else cannot do that approval just because they have the link. And you'll see it takes us directly to the Power App. So if you get this on your phone, this email in your inbox, you simply need to click the link and it'll open either a web browser if you don't have Power App installed, or it'll open the Power App. Or you can just rely on the Power App on a daily basis for your notifications on what needs to be completed. I can then simply click approve and I am done. So that's what's pretty nifty about our Power Apps. And you're able to configure this email template how your company needs it and what it needs to look like and the information it needs to contain. Okay. So if you have more questions about our Power App, we are in the Microsoft Store. You can find us with the link below on the screen. And if you are curious about test driving the application and seeing how this can help automate your workflows and your processes and make it easier for your end users to keep your business going, do reach out. We're happy to give you a one-on-one demo and a test drive. There's a lot of value to be found here. We've already talked about we're going to add some delegation functionality and work items. So now your next question is, what's needed to use this Power App? Well, you need to have Power Apps and a Power App license, and then we offer a product license for AWM, Arbela Workflow Manager. It's pretty nifty. It's very lightweight. Many of our customers are very happy with it. It's able to, for our medical device companies who need those rapid approvals done, it really helps to streamline their operations. And the biggest benefit, I think, is there's a lot of apps out there and there's a lot of mobile workspaces, and Microsoft gives us a lot of options. However, we don't really have one central place to approve all of our workflows. And sending a manager to this app to approve POs and this app to approve budgets, and forgetting the fact that we don't have a mobile option today out of the box for purchase requisitions, we sought to kind of alleviate that problem by giving you one place to approve all your workflows right from your phone. Some of our customers that have been happy with it are listed on the screen. And I'm happy to talk more about it or answer any questions that you might have on the Power App or what you might be looking for in a solution. It's pretty quick, it's pretty dynamic, very secure, and gets you the information you need in real time. Feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions. I believe that's a functionality. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. That went a little bit faster than planned.